Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right, good evening and welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. I am your host, Kimberly McLemore, and welcome to a special edition of the show. With us, we have Teryck Coles, founder of Move with Tee LLC. Move with Tee LLC is a holistic fitness-based company in Northern Virginia, which provides a space for everybody and everybody. It seeks to be positive, challenging, fun, and inclusive. The motto for his company, which is stated at the conclusion of every class he teaches, is be happy, be healthy, be loved. These tenets are spoken in the present tense to drive participants to positive actions. Teryck, also known as T, to his participants is well regarded throughout the area for his philanthropic and charitable work through fundraising efforts with schools and community organizations. He has produced and presented throughout the region and beyond, including Northern Virginia, Southwestern Virginia, Maryland, and Washington, D.C., and Florida. In addition to operating Move with Tee LLC, Teryck is a co-host on an influential motivational podcast called Moments with Lady K Mistah T, where he adds his flavorful offerings to keep listeners inspired while journeying through life. Teryck has been published in Creative Loafing, a Charlotte, North Carolina-based newspaper, as well as regional publications in North Carolina while in college, and looks forward to publishing prospective work in the near future. He is classically trained in ballet, modern, and jazz. He has danced in both hip-hop and lyrical styles as well. During his late 20s and early 30s, Teryck danced with the Silver Caps dance team, an LGBT dance team which traveled throughout North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, performing on behalf of Coors Light, and he later created his own dance company, Too Precise, which performed throughout the aforementioned states behind the notable performers and musicians, as well as being featured performers in several well-known venues. He has danced with the Southwest Virginia Ballet and Central Piedmont Community College Dance Theater as well. Currently, Teryck is certified in Zumba, an international Latin-style dance fitness program, Moy Cycle, Spark Cycle, Bar Above, Strong by Zumba, and Apex Training. He is a certified group fitness instructor with the Athletics and Fitness Association of America and holds an active CPR certification as well. Teryck is in the process of developing his own dance fitness program to be debuted in spring of 2020. So, without further ado, help me welcome to my platform, Mr. Teryck Coles. Hello, T.
Hello. How are you?
I am fine. I had to breathe there for a second. I was like, whoo-wee. This man right here, okay? I was like, wow. It's so funny because I'm sitting back here thinking, how many years have I known you? And then how many things have I not known about you? You, sir.
Right.
Have been hiding way too much from me. And the world.
You know,
okay.
I don't think it's necessarily hiding. I was watching an episode of Blackish the other day,
mm-hmm.
and the mother-in-law, played by Jennifer Lewis, was in bed with Rainbow. They were both sick, so they were quarantined to the bedroom. And she was sharing some of her life when she was younger. And it was interesting. I remember the daughter-in-law was like, she was like, Ruby, I think that's her name. So Ruby, I didn't even know all these things about you. And one of the things she said, and I was like, that makes so much sense. Ruby's response was, well, it's not that I was hiding it. It's just that, I kind of filed that away for a lifetime long ago or something to that effect. Mm-hmm. And it's so many times, we do so much in our lives and then we just kind of compartmentalize things and we file it away for whatever time period that was. And then we go back and reflect on things. And then it seems like we were hiding all these wonderful gifts and talents. It's like, oh, well, I'll just say it's an unearthing or an unfiling.
Right.
So, but I was like, but I get it. But I was like, well, I wasn't hiding because, I felt like I was a different person then, and I feel like I'm a different person now. But all those things that I've done led to who I am today, which it's so cyclical, I guess you could say.
Right. But you're right. I mean, it's like I guess we look at it this way that, you know, you're not supposed to be the same person you were you in your 20s and your 30s, and of course now you're in your 40s. So it does make a difference, and you don't always sit back and think about, wow, how did I get here? You know, and even though every day you're charging harder and harder to work hard at what you want to be, but at the same token, you also have grown within yourself to realize that, you know, I'm affecting people in a different manner, in a different way that I didn't know, and you do stand out. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about those things here in a minute. But what I want you to do is also tell my listeners just a little bit more about who you are. You know, we know you're not from this particular part of Virginia, so let's start with that.
Okay. Well, hey, listeners out there. My name is Teryck, as you are aware, and I'm actually from Southwestern Virginia. I am from the Star City of the South, located in the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains, Roanoke, Virginia. So that's a little PSA or a little shout out to Roanoke. One of my jokes in college, and I don't know why I used to do this, so this is a little bit about me. I would say I'm actually from Big Lick. And people were like, what? Yeah, I'm from Big Lick, Virginia. Because the area that I'm from is actually known for the salt licks. The deer used to come for the salt licks. And so it used to be called Big Lick, and then it was chartered, I think, in 1882 as the city of Roanoke. So, but I used to joke about that. And then I used to get called in college, oh yeah, you're the lost colony. And I would have to remind people, no, that's North Carolina. That's Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina, not Roanoke City, Virginia. Right. Although the Roanoke River runs through both. So there you go. So I'm a little bit of a history buff anyway when it comes to things that are close to me. But yeah, so I grew up in Roanoke, Virginia. I went to William Fleming High School, which has changed so much since I was there. And while I was there, I was actually very involved. I got involved in music in middle school, thanks to my mother. Actually, in elementary school, thanks to my mother, who was a music major in college. I played multiple instruments throughout my life. I'll actually name them. I don't think I've ever shared this with you.
No. See, there you go, hiding something else.
Hiding something else. Well, my mother taught me the piano, and I don't play anymore. But I stopped working with my mother because she would teach some of the neighborhood kids how to play, but I would use her books, and so I kind of became self-taught. So I started teaching myself, and she would help me out whenever I had questions. And I also played the B-flat clarinet, the alto clarinet, bass clarinet, contrabass clarinet, flute, trumpet. I played the English horn, the vibraphone. I know I'm missing something. I can't remember. I covered the piano. There was something else that I played for just like a hot minute, a saxophone. I picked that up for like a minute, and then I got bored, and obviously I don't like this. So I did all of that. I went to several regional competitions, and I was always in the honors band or the premier band, which was really cool. I could do my scales like nobody's business back in the day. Really. Yeah, I was something else. And I also grew up singing in the choir. I used to write plays for my family when I was a little boy to have my cousins act out, which was something fun that I used to do. And anyway, then I graduated from high school. I went on to college. I went to Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina. There, I continued on with music, with the marching and symphonic bands. I was in the honors college, student government. I was published in the Treewell, which was really the campus literary publication. I got involved in community outreach. I was a busybody in college. I tell you, I definitely made very good use of my time. And actually, in college is when I started dancing.
Okay.
There was a theater workshop that was started by I remember her name, Dr. Corliss Hayes. She started a workshop there at the school because we didn't have one at the time. And she was very big in the arts community in the Charlotte metropolitan area. And I got to meet with some very wonderful choreographers, and it just invigorated me to start dancing. And I was actually nervous to start dancing, and I have to give it up to one particular person. Her name was Chandra. Sandra, not Chandra, Sandra. And she was a fellow student, and I was scared to go to the audition. And she said, well, I'll go with you. And so we went together, and I went, and then I got it. And she didn't want it, but she ended up acting. So it kind of worked out.
Wow.
We found our passions. And so things grew from there. And yeah. And then I moved back to Roanoke, and then I came back to, then I moved up to Northern Virginia, where I currently reside. I know I'm skipping like a whole lot, but I don't want to take up too much time talking about myself.
We got plenty to talk about. We'll come back to some of these things. But wow, I'm sitting here like, okay. I mean, look, you had your own little personal band going on, okay, with all your own instruments.
Yeah.
And then, you got your family, you got them doing plays. And then from doing plays of your own, here you are, in college, realizing that you want to be a dancer. I mean, that's just incredible to go from one extreme to the next, but all of it is a part of the arts. And you have captured that portion of your life that you are still carrying today, and you're carrying it in a different way. I want to ask you, from being so young, what inspired you to be so influenced, by the, with music, the arts in the way that you have been?
That's a great question. Actually, I have to say my mother. I do. I know a lot of people credit their moms or their mothers as their source of inspiration, and I don't mean to sound cliche, but it truly, indeed, was my mother. She, like I said, she was a music major in college, and music went with her everywhere. And I don't want to tell too much of her business, but she got pregnant with me while she was in college. So technically, I was going to her music classes with her because she talked about, times when she was going to class, and she had me in May of 1977. And so you can imagine she was still in classes then. And she said I was waddling the class, and I was making it, and I would be in choir practice or music theory, and I was right there with her, but I was literally inside of her at the time. So I think that really influenced and shaped a lot, because I was a part of that piece of her life. And just after my birth and my brother's birth, just growing up in the house, my mother would play music all the time. I even told her, I said, when she passes on, I said, I want her record collection. I don't have a record player, but I'm gonna have to get one.
Right.
And she used to joke and say, when she used to hang out, because she was young once, and vivacious, and she told me that a lot of people would say when they would go to like a party, like in college and stuff, oh, is Cindy here? And they'd be like, oh, she's not here yet? Okay, well, we'll come back after she gets here. Because my mom would bring the really cool records and stuff, and my mom always had the hottest tunes. And then, of course, with her being a music major, she actually stepped into the role of the music chairperson of for the church where I was born and raised. Okay. And so in singing in the choirs, my mother directed pretty much every choir in the church I grew up in, except for two. Wow. And one of them was the men's chorus. So naturally, it was a male choir director that was leading the men's chorus, just because that's the way that it kind of went. And there was another choir that she didn't direct. But other than that, she directed every choir. And I happened to be my brother and I happened to be a part of every one of those choirs at some point.
So yes,
when your mother's a music major.
Right.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when your mother's a music major, you or the music chairperson, you kind of get drafted, and especially if you can sing. And we come from a family of singers and musicians, so it's kind of like you don't really get an option.
Right.
Come on,
right.
But but she was lenient. Like my brother, after a while, he wasn't into it. He's like, I don't really want it, and she doesn't force anybody. She never forced either one of us to do things that we didn't want to do, which is something I really appreciate about her. I mean, other than raising us,
right?
Now you have to do your you need to do your homework. You need to do your chores, but
right.
Other than that, like as far as your interest, if you're not interested in music, then you don't. She's not going to force it down your throat.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah. So that's kind of, she was my inspiration, I would say. So
I would agree. I would agree with that. But when we, it's no different. I think as women, when we carry our children, that when you read to them, and like I said, when you're singing to them, they do carry that on. I mean, you don't really think it at first, but when you start to see certain things come out of your children after all those months of holding on to them, and then you constantly, obviously we as mothers, we still continue to hold on to and nurture our children in certain ways, but it does seem to reflect that, as we become adults, and, like saying, you've been able to zone in on your talents in such a different way. It really connected with you differently than it did with your brother, or anyone else in the family. So that, I think that is a beautiful thing. And I have had the opportunity to meet your mother. She's a very sweet woman, and she just is very proud of you. I could see it in her eyes and her face the day I got to meet her.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So it was an exciting moment to be able to get the opportunity to meet, because I have heard so much about her. But, I think it's beautiful that, when parents do also realize that when either you want to move on or you don't, but they're very supportive of what that means to you as an individual, because it allows you to grow to who you need to be. So you have grown into this flower. You have literally blossomed all over with everything that you've done from your personal perspective. And now you are truly sharing it in a different way through your company, Move with T. I can absolutely say that, I've been a part of, seeing you in the last several years. I can remember the first time I seen you in what used to be Gold's Gym. And that's another name, which I won't kind of get into all the names of the gyms. But when I seen you doing the Zumba where you're located at, it was like, okay, there was always this connection that I loved about you. And whether I knew your name or had never seen you before, you could immediately connect with you. And that is because what I have seen is that your style of Zumba is definitely about the people. It's not about you. And that makes a difference. So talk to the listeners about Move with T.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that as well. I do believe, I'm glad that you said what you said about everything not being about me, because I feel like as an instructor, sometimes instructors do what I'll say we do, because I want to include all the instructors, but sometimes we do it because we genuinely love what we do. And those are the instructors who I appreciate so much, and those are the ones who I connect with the most. So I'm glad that you connect with me in that way, because I enjoy what I'm doing, and what I enjoy even more is seeing the people enjoying, just realizing everything that we're doing, like with choreography and like when you see, and I think every instructor has experienced this at one point, when they look out across the room and everybody's moving in unison. And I don't think it matters whether it's yoga or body pump or Zumba or even cycle, when you can just see everybody's connected and they're on the same path and they're traveling together in that same room, and the energy is just there. It gives you goosebumps. It's like, look at all these people working so hard, and it's just like, I love it. It's just like you just see the intensity on their faces, and it's just amazing to see. But Move with T, let me get to that. So Move with T was actually not the first name I had for my company. It actually came to me very organically. I was playing around with different names back when I first started teaching, because I was like, oh, well, maybe I should try this. And I was like, oh, well, make it into my own business and my own thing. And I was like, well, I don't have to do that. But I kind of swirled around some ideas. And so, like I said, I believe in things happening organically and authentically. And one of my students, she came up to me after class. This was several years ago, right? And she was like, I said, I love how you move. I want to move like you.
Wow.
And so I told her, I said, well, there's only one me, and God put me here to move like I do. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to move like me. But I'll tell you what, if you keep coming to class, we can move together. And that's how Move with T was born. And just in me saying that, it spoke something. I remember that evening when I got home, I was like, we can move together. And when I was creating, I guess you could say, this company, this brand, I wanted something that was all-encompassing. And I didn't want it to be limited to just dance fitness or just like cycle or just one mode. So I with what I had spoken about with the young lady and having that in my mind, and everybody called me T already at the gym.
Right.
And my niece calls me Uncle T. So I was like, well, I'm T. And I was like, move with T. And we can always move together. And I call my folks out there, my movers and shakers, whether we're in Zumba, whether we're in cycle, whether we're doing bar, whatever we might be doing, we're moving and we're shaking. Something's moving and something's shaking. If nothing's moving and nothing's shaking, then we're definitely doing it wrong.
Right.
But yeah, that's how Move with T was born. And, you know, I've continued to try to be thoughtful in how I implement processes and new things, and try to make sure that whatever I put it out there into the universe, if you will, that it fits with, it aligns with my mission and my purpose and my motto of being happy, being healthy, and of course, being love.
Right. And you do. And the thing I love about you when you talk about people being inclusive as a part of your environment and part of Move with T is that even, you know, for those who don't know, who have never been to his class, there are people who will come to the class when they can't even really move. They will actually come in, sit in that chair, and they will do that Zumba in that chair because they cannot physically get up and move in the way that they want, but they're inclusive. And that's the beauty about Move with T. There is no, you have to come in and be perfect. There is no such thing as perfection in that perspective. And I love that with the way that your classes run. And you're right. You can feel it when you come in that room. You can feel it when we're all on the floor and we're all moving in unity. It's lovely. And, you know, you provide that without even, sometimes I don't even think you even notice it or even know that that's what you're doing, because that's just who you are. And so, you know, it's a blessing to have instructors like you, but at the end of the day, it's more of a blessing to have you just be as human as you are and as kind as you are, because we definitely need more of that, you know, in our world and even in the world of Zumba. And as we know, as an instructor, and I've been on a platform before, and like I said, all the other instructors that are there, you know, you put up with a lot, and some days are better than others, but you always find a way to get around that and not let that affect you, because you know how many people really truly depend on you.
Yes. And that's really important too. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because, you know, as much as we all try to spread love and light, there are times when, you know, negativity tries to interfere. And I'm not going to go deep into that specifically right now, but you know, one of the things that, you know, I have to remind myself is that I'm human. And when outside influences attempt to kind of infiltrate my tribe, if you will, or, you know, infiltrate my, even just within myself, if they try to influence or infiltrate or, you know, throw me off my path, you know, those are the times when I have good friends that I can as one of my other friends would say, that I can call and have them put the kettle on. And I can just, you know. Right. And because they get it, because they're in it, they understand it. And I can, and of course I know that it's not going to go anywhere. And then sometimes I just go within myself. I'll just retreat within myself, and kind of like a self-preservation. and depending on what it is, it is not in a antisocial type of way. Of course, it's more of just, I'm gonna step back and go over here and just keep on focusing on what I'm focusing on. And that's the most important thing is when you have a vision, when you have a plan, when you have something that it is you're doing. Sometimes there will be the naysayers, but staying true to your vision is the most important thing that you can do. And, staying on the path that you're forging is the most important, unless you need to veer off that path to make your journey even better, which technically you're not veering off the path, then you're just adjusting your journey. You're, as GPS would say, you're rerouting.
Right.
But yeah, so, and that's the biggest thing, but, and then of course, and one of my biggest things that I know this is not a place for me to give advice necessarily, and I don't believe in giving advice. I believe in giving experience, because when we give advice, we may not have gone through something specific, but when we give experience, we're talking to things that actually we've done or that we're actively doing, and that actually have worked for us or not worked for us.
Right.
And for me, one of the things I found key in kind of staying true to my brand and my vision and my path is surrounding myself with people who are doing the same things that I'm doing. Absolutely. I mean, they may not be the exact same thing. Like it doesn't have to be dance fitness, but people who are business owners, people who are doing things on their own, people who are forging their own pathways and staying true to those pathways. And those are the kind of people that you want to kind of keep in your circle, who you can kind of speak to, because they understand things on a level that, Joe Average may not. So
exactly, you're exactly right. Mm-hmm.
And now I'm getting off my soapbox.
But no, it's really not a soapbox. I mean, and I asked that question specifically because like I tell people that they see us all the time, and a lot of times people don't understand how human we really are, because they see a certain shell. They see somebody who in their eyesight is successful. They made it, there's all these different thought processes that people go through when they react to individuals. And, like I said, with your situation and with the type of business that you have, it's always about being positive and healthy and loving and trying to be happy. But we're also normal people that not every day is going to be happy, or it may not even be healthy, and you may not feel like you're being loved. But at the same time, you're sharing that feeling, and you bring that across to people even when they don't know that you may not feel that way that particular day or at that moment. So I always think it's important that we express that we are human, and it's okay that we may not have that complete fullness there, but we're here. And so, and it's funny, I guess, like we always talk about when you're exercising, some days are really great. You go several times a week, and then all of a sudden that one day comes, you're like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And it's okay to feel like you just don't want to do it. But it's like, but when you walk through that door, you have that feeling of like, man, I'm dragging, but I got here and I've done it. And that's the key, to everything that you're talking about, and that, what you have portrayed as a part of Move with T when you're dealing with individuals. But we all have to realize that we are still all human beings. And so that's why I always like to have that little bit of conversation so that people can see that no matter what we're going through in life, you're still there. And you're doing it for not just for you, but you're doing it for everybody who surrounds you. And as you said, your tribe of those who really follow you and, are there to constantly keep pushing you forward. That's important. And so I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I'm going to move on to a couple more questions before we end.
We can preach all day, right?
I'm telling you. So, but the one other thing too is that I want to talk a little bit more about your other things that you're doing. I noticed that one thing that you didn't put in your writing is that you also contribute to some other publishing's blogs. So talk a little bit about that.
Yes, actually, you are so right. I'm looking at it right now. So for the listeners out there, I am a contributing writer for a online blog called The Z Beat. It's TheZbeat. And the operator of that particular blog, actually, we took a little hiatus about the middle of last year. but we are coming back. But I was contributing writer. I did a monthly motivational piece that I would offer, and we were in the process of working out another piece for to include music, because I love music so much. And so that's it's very fun. It's actually a bunch of local instructors in the area who contribute. And some things we write everything we write, of course, has something to do with fitness, or I like to say wellness. And because a lot of times when we think of fitness, we think of physical fitness and working out. But that blog definitely focuses on, I think, overall wellness, because we hit different pieces of things. Now, of course, none of us are, at least I don't think any of us is a physician or a licensed medical professional as far as like being a psychiatrist or a counselor. But you never know, because we all keep things hidden, as we talked about earlier. But most of us, we just we share things as just about helping people to stay true to their fitness journeys or their wellness journeys. And it can be on the participant side, or someone who's simply taking classes, which is no easy feat by any means, but also for instructors who are teaching classes, because instructors get burnt out too sometimes, or instructors go through the same things. Sometimes instructors don't want to come teach. They're like, I'm going to go home and watch Netflix. As I've had a long day at work, I want to go home. But we know our names on the schedule, so we have to be there. So we write all sorts of stuff regarding that, all those types of things. And of course, there are fun things in there too that are just like, hey, did you know? And one of our former contributors, may she rest in peace, who we lost her last year. She used to do these really fun pieces. They were all one of the last ones I remember her writing had to do about selfies, because we called her the selfie queen. Because anywhere you went, you had to do a selfie. If I was at an event, a fitness event, and I didn't take a selfie with her, then to me it didn't count, and I wasn't there. Yeah, so it was like. And it was a little tongue-in-cheek thing, and this is a little side note. She was well known for doing a Party in Pink every year. And for those listeners out there who don't know, Zumba, which is the dance fitness program that I currently teach for, as a Party in Pink every October, which brings awareness to Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Right. And that was a big thing for her that she would do. And at her last event, she had a selfie station. Yeah, it was so amazing. Goodness. So I was like, this is perfect. This is right. I said, this is everything. And everybody that knows her and knew her, we were all in on the joke, so we got it. So and she was letting us know, I get it. I take a lot of selfies, and she really was the selfie queen. After class, she was taking selfies. But may she rest in peace, as up there in the heavens. So we're definitely missing a good one there. But yeah, I got off on the side note, but my apologies for that.
It's okay.
But I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted everybody to know about your blogging, because like I said, I didn't read about that, but I definitely knew that's what you have been doing. And then you also are a part of another amazing podcast show. And of course, I'm a little biased because, the podcast is about you and I, Moments with Lady K and Mistah T. Yay!
Hey. Well, if I may say, I almost, when we started the interview today, I almost said, hey, Lady K. Because I even say that to you when I speak to you. So I'm just used to saying, hey, Lady K.
Yep.
And I was like, I have to call her Kimberly, because this is author Kimberly McLemore. I said, I have to remember that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But I tell you, it almost came out.
It's okay, because I have all these different titles now. So, I answer to pretty much anything these days. So it's good. It is good. But yes, Moments with Lady K and Mistah T, we had probably have had that out for just about a year. And it's one of my favorite podcast shows, because we really do talk about experience, as you talked about earlier. It's not just about giving out, information or, saying we know more than you do, but we really do talk about experiences and daily things that we see going on in our communities. We actually give you some food for thought. And then, of course, we also want to give those people a hug who may need that hug that particular day and just going through a rough patch. And so, yeah, it's a really neat program, and it's all about what's going on locally as well. And so we're definitely growing, and we're going to be pulling that back out here real soon. So y'all better keep your eyes and ears open.
Coming back for 2020.
That's right. That's right. New platform on its own. So, hey, it's another opportunity to grow, because we've been doing it long enough now that we feel that, people are definitely paying attention. They do know who we are. And it wasn't so much that it was about, Kimberly and Teryck. It really has become its own little process and piece of this is what Moments with Lady K Mistah T are about. So we collaborate on that. And then we also, the one thing you talked a little bit about was fundraising, and we have for 2 years in a row have had the opportunity to do our own fundraising program. We call it the Purple and Pink fundraising event, Zumba fundraising event. And the purple stands for domestic violence awareness, and of course the pink is for breast cancer awareness. So we've collaborated with that, and then we have a wonderful young lady who helps us out as well, Miss Tanja White.
Indeed.
Yes, that deals with all of our logistics and helps us, put the program, keep us in order, and all of that. And the last couple of years have been amazing, but I think this year was most amazing. What was your thoughts about that from 2019?
This year was really cool. We changed venue, and we're very gracious for the both venues that we used. Actually allowed us to use the spaces gratis. So shout out to both of those venues. Because everybody knows it's hard to get a space without having to pay, especially in Northern Virginia.
Right. Hello.
So very, very thankful for that. And I really felt like this. I mean, you want every year to be better than the last, and so this year I felt like it was exceptionally. It was. I felt like it was even better than last year.
Absolutely.
And so many of the instructors that reached back to me afterwards just to say how much they enjoyed being part of the experience, and how much they could feel the love and the energy and the positive energy in the space. They were just like, this was just amazing. I enjoyed our decorations, which I was like, oh, they might think these are cheesy, but once the lights go down, they'll look okay.
Right.
But everybody was loving it, and we just threw up some streamers here and there. But I added my little flair for let me put this here and add up in there. And once again, shout out to the venue for allowing us to put those things up, because some venues are like, no, you can't put up anything.
Right.
So and actually the director there, she actually said to me, I don't know if I should say this, but she was like, I almost didn't want you to take them down. I kind of wanted you to leave them up. So she said, because they look so nice.
And they did.
I was like, well, I would have.
If we'd have known.
But right, but of course that would have meant I would have had to come back another day to take them down. So,
right.
but I'm glad she liked them. She's been really supportive, so that's been really awesome. And we had a great lineup of instructors that were available to participate, donating their time and their talents to come out, and we had wonderful participants that helped us raise money. We raised more than last year, which was our goal. And it's just, I mean, and we actually were able to partner with because we didn't mention this, but we do partner with at least one local organization,
right?
So the monies can go somewhere locally, like here in Northern Virginia. And we were able to partner with, I think, a wonderful organization this year. And I'm hoping that this past year, and hopefully in 2020, we'll be able to connect with them again.
Absolutely.
It looks like they do some really tremendous work. And I know we were looking at that's for the purple side. And then on the pink side, I think we're going to start looking at some local organizations as well to assist with, so we know the money's going somewhere on the ground level to help somebody out. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, the event, our fundraising event, has just, the last couple of years have been amazing, and we've been focusing around the 70s, and each year we'll up the ante, obviously, but the big part of it is also, it wasn't just the dancing and all of that. It was the stories that came out in that room, and the emotion that came out in that room was incredible. It was just incredible. And every year I said, I'm not going to cry. I did again. You was like, are you going to be all right? Do I need to take you outside? It's like, but people.
Like if you cry, you're not going to be able to dance.
Exactly. But you just don't understand. I think a lot of times people don't realize that when you see it's like, you're not the only one, but when you're going through what you're going through, you always feel like you're the only one. And to be able to sit in that, to be a part of that room and that experience, and to hear the stories and the feelings that people were going through, and they felt there was no pressure. They could bring everything out, and they know that when it was in that room, there were people there to support them. So that was the most important part, I think, that came out of it, beyond just the dancing and, the fundraising and, having the money available for our community. It was just those things that really give people the opportunity to be free. And I know that, we all heard a lot about that after the event. And so we're definitely looking forward to 2020. We have already picked the venue. So just look out for things coming out here soon throughout the year, since we are already prepared for that. I'm not going to say where, because we're going to keep that tight lip for now. But
Mum's the word.
What'd you say?
I said, Mum's the word.
Exactly. So, but everybody be prepared, because we are coming back with a vengeance this year. Okay, we're ready.
Indeed. And if I may say, I know there were I know of 2 instructors who presented during our event who are actual breast cancer survivors. One was actively going through chemo, actually.
Absolutely.
At the time, and she made sure she rested so she could be a part of the event. And the moment with her, oh God, okay, sorry. The moment with her was just amazing, and she's continuing through her journey. I'm actually proud to report, since I mentioned that, that she actually has completed her chemo.
Yes.
And she's going on to the next phase in the process now. So big shout out to her. I don't know if I can say her name or not. I know she's journaling. She's talking about it vocally.
Right.
But she's an amazing woman who, when I started fitness years ago, when I got it, well, I should say when I returned to fitness about 6 years ago, she and I were in the same group exercise certification. That's how she and I met. And then I found out she did Zumba. I said, oh, well, that's why I'm here, so I can get certified for Zumba. And we connected, and we ended up partnering up, because they were like, oh, partner up, how they do that in group things. And I was like, well, I don't know anybody here. And she and I were like, well, I guess it's just us, because we were right there. So, and Zumba people always find each other. I tell you that.
Yes, so, we do.
and we do. And not even trying. She didn't have on anything Zumba. I don't nothing Zumba. We were just dressed like 2 regular people in workout clothes. And we found each other, but we connected on such a level that it's been amazing. And she is so inspiring. And come to find out, she and I are the same age. We're just a couple weeks apart. We're both born in May. So I'm like, this is why we met. We're kindred. We're kindred. And so yeah. And then the other lady, of course, I do want to mention her, because I'm not mentioning her name either. I just want to protect their anonymity.
Right.
Because they aren't speaking on their behalf. She's been an amazing source of inspiration. Just post cancer treatment, just everything she's doing, and she lives this very holistic life. Like, she's very thoughtful about the products she uses. And she's even turned me on to this. I call it her magic balm. It's if you're sore, it works wonders. But this lady, I tell you, she's actually now one of my mentees that I'm mentoring.
Wow.
I pulled a couple people aside, and I have a little mentoring program that I do as well with newer instructors. And she's one I brought into my group, and she is just, I tell you, she is just amazing. And just watching her commit to her fitness, I mean, even when she's traveling, she checks in at a gym somewhere. I'm like, you're on vacation.
Right.
A lot of people don't work out when they're on vacation. I know I don't. I'm not going to lie. Well, I might go out and do something like 1 or 2 days, but my whole vacation, I'm not at the gym.
Right.
This lady will be at the gym.
Every
and I'm
gym.
like, how do you do it? And she'll do like 2 or 3 classes in a row. Or I mean, she's good to be at the gym for like 3 hours.
Yep.
But I don't want to spend too much time talking about all of that. I'm sorry. But I just wanted to share that we had 2 really inspirational people who were presenting, who are actually actively or have actually gone through cancer treatment. And of course, with your story, you know, being one of the host and the organizers of the event, and your story and your commitment to the purple, I have to just champion and I guess laud and applaud all of you for just your continuing to be excellent and giving back, and you know, just moving forward and sharing your story and allowing other people to share theirs, and letting everyone know that they're not by themselves. So, all right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And very well said. And, you know, he's right. We definitely had plenty of moments there. And like I said, we're definitely looking forward to 2020 doing the same thing, and, you know, doubling everything that we're doing and making sure that we're there for those who do need that help. And just want to talk, you know, they just want somebody to hear them. And even if they say nothing but in silence, but knowing that that support is there, that's what our fundraising event is all about. So we'll be talking more about it as the year continues to move forward, as it's moving quickly already in 2020. So we are definitely at the end of our show. And, you know, Teryck, as always, you are, like I said, a blessing. You have given me so much more to know about you, and it has just been an honor to have you as a special guest on my show, so that people could know a little bit more about Move with T and the blessings that you provide in our community. So I appreciate you for coming on. And do you have any last words for my listeners?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of your platform. I was honored. And I was also, as you know, confused when you sent me the email, because I thought, oh, okay, we're going to start Moments again. Okay, yeah, sure. And I said, wait a minute. She wants to actually interview me. And I was like, okay, all right, because I'm not used to that. So I appreciate that. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And as far as any last words? Well, I do want to share that Move with T, I am currently in the midst of a online vlog. It's a 7-part series called Getting Unstuck in 2020. Every Monday for 7 weeks, starting from the 13th of January on forward through February, there will be on Mondays at approximately 7 p.m. I'm releasing different tips on how to get unstuck in 2020. There are 7 tips, and each week I'm covering a different tip and giving little homework assignments and things of that nature, where people can learn to get unstuck and get out of their rut for the new year, and hopefully move on to greatness and better things. And they can find this on Move with Tee LLC, of course. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. We do have an IG channel on Instagram and Facebook as well. So you've got 3 different ways that people can reach out to me. And also, if they have any questions, they can reach me at movewithtee, that's TEE, at gmail.com as well. And I'll be happy to answer any questions or fill in any opportunities, or, you know, if they have any suggestions for things they might like for me to cover, they can reach out to me there. And other than that, of course, I would just tell everybody to be happy, be healthy, be loved. Y para mis amigos latinos, sé feliz, sé salud, sé amor.
All righty. All right. Again, thank you so much for being on the show with me tonight. We are definitely gone way over time, but you know what? I love having my conversations with you because you're a wealth of information. And, you know, for everyone else, if you have any questions for Move with T, you can definitely reach out to him, like I said, through any of the social media platforms. But for us, we're here every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. with a new guest. And you can listen to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and we are on 6 or 7 other new platforms, such as Google Podcasts, Deezer, a whole bunch of other ones I can't even remember right now off the top of my head. But there's no reason why that you cannot find us and cannot hear of our shows. We have it all out there for you to listen. If you would like to be a guest on this show, just reach out to me through Kimberly at WSBILLC.com, or you can reach through me through KMM123 McLemore@gmail.com as well, and we can get you on to the show. And you go through, and if you would like to learn a little more about WSBI, you can go to www.WSBILC.com. But until next time, you all have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.WSBILLC.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.